Hi everyone, I'm Immigration Attorney John Khosravi. Thank you for tuning in to this live Q&A Monday through Friday every day at 5 p.m. Well, every weekday Monday through Friday, here to talk about immigration, taking questions and trying to answer general kind of issues that pop up in the immigration sphere. I know there's a lot of confusion that's popping up, so I'm here to help you all out with that. Thank you for joining. You can catch me live on TikTok on Immigration Lawyer John. That's John is John. Also on Facebook, JQK Law Firm. And a recording of this is posted on YouTube, as well as clips of it on Instagram and other social media. Best thing to do is just go to my website, JQK Law Firm. All the social media links are there. If you're on TikTok, first follow and subscribe. Secondly, go to the link tree. You'll get access to my website. You'll get access to newsletter sign up, all the different social media, my reviews, all that kind of stuff. So if you need to connect with me that way, you can. Today is May 27th. It's a Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and it's a special day. USCIS just sent out an email confirming that their plan is to start opening things up for USCIS on June 4th. So what does that mean? First of all, you have to realize excuse me, USCIS is not the Department of State or the embassy system. So we're not sure, it's not clear when the embassies are going to open up again for interviews or what's going on with that. So that's first thing. Secondly, they said they're going to start opening up offices. In the way that they said it, it doesn't mean that they're all going to open up. So you may see some offices not be open, for example in New York, maybe because there's more sick people there, but maybe in Texas and Florida it will be open. We don't know, they're not clear yet as to how that system is going to work out. Secondly, they're going to have less people coming in to take precautions for social distancing and the like, so there's going to be a backlog. So although they'll open it up and people will get interviews, there's less people going in to do the interview, which means it's going to take longer to process the case. So it's really important to keep that stuff in mind. And finally, the most important thing is it doesn't matter if they say they're open or not. When you get an appointment notice, that's when you know your case is there. So you can't ask, oh, when is my case going to come up? There's no way to know. Their algorithms and their computer system choose who's next in line, or the field office officer, when they're ready for your case and have the space, they're going to come and send you an interview notice to come and do your interview. So that's the best that we can do. Don't expect much more than that. It's just wait your turn. It'll happen. It's unfortunate that things are behind. I know it's frustrating. I know you want the green card. I know you want to move ahead with your case, or you have filed for citizenship and you want the interview for citizenship and you want to do the oath ceremony. On the right side, I got a notification today that one of my cases who has successfully finished the interview for citizenship, the naturalization process, is getting an oath ceremony that's coming up. We haven't got the notice for it, but we just got notification. That notice meaning when and where it's going to be, but we got notification that it's going to happen. This is a Los Angeles case. So these things are happening. I'm optimistic it'll be happening for you as well if you have a case. Biometrics as well, the fingerprinting, they're starting to open up, but we'll see what happens. And when you go there, you'll have to wear a mask. They've said you can only come in 15 minutes before your interview. They don't want people crowding in the small offices that are there. So there's a lot going on. If you go to uscis.gov, the explanation is there. But that's the most up-to-date news that there is. It's very general, not specific, so you'll have to see what happens. So let's get to questions. Bassett Can asks, my case is in USCIS and I'm waiting for a work permit. When my work permit will come? I don't know. Whenever they're ready, it'll come. Ziggy asks, I have the interview in February. I have not received anything. I don't know. I don't know anything about your case, so hopefully you did your interview well. It could be you did a terrible job at the interview, or it could be the officer is just finishing things up, and sometimes it takes longer. So it's not clear, especially because I don't know anything about your background for me to be able to give even a somewhat of an answer, other than just be patient. If it takes longer, you could sue. Probably not the best thing to sue this early enough. But this will happen. Sunita asks, when will USCIS will reopen? I just did a long talk about this. Catch the video of this that's going to come out a day or two, or go to uscis.gov and you'll get an explanation there. But I just spent the first 5 minutes of the broadcast talking exactly what your question is, so I don't want to repeat it for everyone else. Ziggy says, I passed the exam. Oh, that's good, but just be patient. I don't know. I don't, it is. I mean, what exam? You said green card, Ziggy. I don't know, Ziggy. I don't know your case, and I don't know what the officer's thinking. Just have to be patient. Yes, you ask, my case has been transferred to another, service center. Why? Well, they do that sometimes. If one place is handling your case, a service center is too busy and it seems like they're delaying it, they transfer that work to another service center that has more open space. so that way they could deal with it. That's one of the things. Now, I'm not sure. I have to see your paperwork if they transfer to the field office or something like that. But usually it's these service centers. If they're handling too many cases, things are taking too long, they transfer some of the cases to another location to help even out the burden. So that's that. Now, with regards to the question gentleman had about things taking, so had an interview in February. Well, there was a oath ceremony stoppage. So until the oath ceremonies come up, you can't do anything. So again, be patient and it'll come. Togba, I applied jointly, then I divorced and I sent I-751 amendment. They rejected case for not paying fee. So when you amend the I-751, sometimes USCIS takes a position that it's a new petition or application, so you have to pay a new fee. Sometimes they don't. It's kind of inconsistent. I've seen this. So typically when you do removal of conditions, I mean you had a new marriage, so after getting the green card, 2 years later, you have to apply for another application to keep the green card. And that's Form I-751. If you're married at the time of filing, you both sign it, the couple signs it, sends it. But if you're divorced and you're not going to jointly sign it, you do it individually. Now, sometimes you sign it jointly and then things fall apart with the relationship, and then what you do next is you amend it as a waiver-based I-751 and you send that updated information there, and then they just update it or you go to the interview, it's fine. Sometimes they come back and say there's no fee. So that's something you want to hire an attorney with. Contact your congressperson, work with them so they know that you're separated, or wait for an RFE, a request for evidence, or something like that, or go to the interview with the amended I-751 just to keep them posted. Maybe you could have just sent a letter saying you're getting the process of getting divorced. They would have sent you a request for evidence, and you could have maybe updated there as a response to the RFE and avoided dealing with the mailroom that handles fees and new application forms and that kind of stuff. So I have to see what happens, but that's the inconsistency of the immigration system. All right, so Anna asks, how long does it take to approve T visa? It depends. I'm not in the business of answering timeline questions because every case is different. Try going to uscis.gov and you might get a better answer there. Another question about I-751. I applied for I-765. I'm sorry, it's a question about the work permit on May, but I still didn't get my receipt. Well, May 1st, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe the post office is delaying it. What you got to see is if they cashed a check on your I-765, that's an indicator they got the case. But if it takes 30 days from the time they received it, then check. If you should when you mail something to the USCIS, you should always send them a tracking. See what they received it. Wait 30 days. If no notice, then try calling them up, see what happened. But checking to see if the check was cashed, the payment for the application, that might be one way to see if it's in processes or not. Yes, how do I check with office? They transfer, which case they asked for. There's no checking with the offices there, but if you have a question or issue with your case, call USCIS and ask them. That's the way to do it. Yeah, they don't really share a lot of information on their website, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, what are you going to ask about? Just wait for your case to get processed. Champagne asks, hello, for my husband case, we sent all the documents in, including medical record with seal, but they sent. You gotta finish your question. Anti-comp. Alexander asks, how do you extend your stay on a B2 tourist visa? Will you file for an extension of stay for I-539? But that's the basics of it. There's a lot of attachments and other breakdowns you have to include within that. So in your kind of case, you should read the instructions. If you just type in B2 tourist visa extension, there's videos and blogs. There's a bunch of information. I'll tell you exactly what to do. But at the end of the day, go to uscis.gov, look at the form, read the instructions, take you there. Or if you don't want to do that, consult with an immigration attorney in private, schedule a consultation, and they'll help you, guide you through the way there. It's probably the best thing to do, but there is cost to that. I don't understand, but I would do that if I was you. Farcon says, how long does it take for my green card holder to invite husband in the United States? It varies. I would say consult an attorney to get a breakdown from it. It could take a year or two, but it depends on a lot of different factors. Sometimes it goes longer. It's unfortunate. Thank you, Alexander. Okay, so we got a good group here. Thank you for the questions. Yeah, when people ask how long things take, as I say every day, things are so different. Look at the coronavirus. They've shut down USCIS. They shut down travel to the United States. They shut down the embassies. This kind of stuff happens all the time with a lot of different cases. Plus, I don't know anything about your case. I have one case right now. The husband had an arrest charge 20 years ago, and it's going to be okay, but we need to get the court record for it. It's taken him a year and a half now. He still has not given me the court record. Everything's ready to go. He could have got his green card last year. But so when they asked me at first how long it takes, I'm like, well, it could be a year and 2 months. But right now it's 2 years, still nothing has happened because they're not getting me the paperwork. So it's hard to give answers because there's a lot of moving parts of this, and that could change things. Sombar asks, once I file for I-130 petition, how long does it take for the work permit, interview, and eventual green card? Well, the I-130 does not give you a work permit, interview, or green card. I-130 is just an initial petition. You got to submit other stuff. It varies depending on your background and which field office you're dealing with. And so you should consult with an immigration attorney to get a better idea about the process and how it works for you. For timelines, go to uscis.gov. I'd recommend doing that and checking things out there. Farkhan asks, can a green card holder invite brother or sister for visit? Well, I talked about this at length yesterday. There's no invitation. So if a person wants to come visit the United States, they apply for a tourist visa and they may get it, they may not get it. So that's that. If your brother or sister wants to come visit, they should apply for a tourist visa and see what happens. Alexander asks, if you're out of status and you have a pending adjustment of status, can you renew your driver's license? That's a state-by-state question, and so some states will allow it, some won't. Some DMV offices will issue it, some won't. It depends on the officer dealing with that day. So the answer is it's all over the place. There's no direct answer. It varies dramatically across the country, across offices, and amongst different officers of the DMV. Some follow the rules, some don't. So there's no exact answer to the question that you're asking. Harp asks how long fiance visa takes. Check out uscis.gov. It has some timelines there. But if you want a good answer, schedule a consultation and we can take it from there. Salu asks, you got a misdemeanor for shoplifting over 6 years ago. Does it affect naturalization process? It can, depends on what the charge and the conviction were, what kind of probation there was, how much money was involved. Maybe it can. I need to know more about your other history as well. Usually the first has one shoplifting charge and maybe other issues that pop up, non-payment of taxes, or other things. So I need to, when it comes to case-specific things like this, it's not something we can answer in a public forum like this. We got to sit and talk and review the conviction record, the arrest record, what happened, and know your whole story before I could ask you if something's going to be a problem, answer you, if something's going to be a problem or not. So definitely consult with an immigration attorney in private. You're welcome, Farkanda. Harper asks, fiancé visa process. We'll talk about that probably tomorrow. Tune in at 5 p.m. I'll probably start with something like that. Where is your office? Watch asks, I'm headquartered in Los Angeles, but I'm not seeing anybody in person, and most likely I'm going to continue this. I like doing video-only consultations, so it doesn't matter where I am. If you're interested in immigration case, email me first at info@jqqlaw.com. It's a paid consultation. And then email me, break down what your issue or question's about. I'll let you know if it's a 30-minute or 1-hour consultation or needs more, and the general fee for that initial interaction will be there. And then once we talk about your case, if it's a case that I could accept, then we'll go into fee structure and how long the process is and all that kind of stuff. But initially, I got to sit and talk with you. It's going to happen by video, and then we just take things from there. And just the main thing is when you email me at first, briefly explain what the immigration question or issue that you have is, because my office doesn't handle a lot of type of cases. So if you've been arrested with serious crimes, I don't handle those cases. If you're going to immigration court, I don't handle those cases. If you have an employer that wants to sponsor your green card, I don't handle those cases. I handle people getting married, fiancés, people with family members coming, people starting businesses in the United States, E2, L1 visa, EB5 sometimes, all that kind of stuff. And then sometimes if someone's really famous or successful in the area, there's the EB1A green card. It's a lot of work. I don't usually do them unless I'm very interested in the work and success the person has had. I want to get to know them better. That's the only reason I do those type of cases. But primarily it's for family-based and marriage kind of situations where there's no complex criminal history involved, because I don't handle cases where there's criminal history. Let's see. Salu, New York court. Yeah, okay. So Champagne asked, for my husband, in case we sent all the documents, so courtesy, but we got a courtesy. Okay. She asked, she has a green card case. She applied for her husband, and she sent all the documents, but got a courtesy notice for medical records. Okay, so you get your medical. What happens is when you apply for a green card in the United States, you have to have a sealed medical envelope. Typically, we don't send that with the application itself. Some cases we do. But you do need to bring it with you when you have your interview. So just follow the instructions on the letter. If you haven't got your medical yet, go and get it. If you do, just hold on to it and bring it with you to the interview. You need to make sure the validity date of the form is correct. So you got to check to see how long the case has been pending, when the medical was taken. So you make sure that it's not expired by the time you have your interview. Just stuff. It's more complicated to know how to do that, but definitely consult a lawyer in private. If she's saying we sent the medical and everything, I don't know. Maybe they lost it. I'm not sure why they say that. But to be safe, I would just get another medical. Unfortunately, I know it's a lot of money to waste. But that's that. You could try contacting USCIS, following up with them, say it's there, please take a look. That's going to be a hard thing to do, but give it a shot. That may work, and so avoid you having to pay all over again for another medical. Farkhan asked, last question. Can parents, citizen, invite children who are over 18? How long it takes? So again, there's no invitations. You might be using a different term. You might mean something else. The terminology you're using though is incorrect. There is absolutely zero invitations coming from U.S. people overseas. If someone overseas wants to come here, they apply for a tourist visa and come. If you're asking about applying for their green card and stuff, that's a different thing. It depends on the case. Like I have a case right now that's taking a long time because of some issues with client's background. It's taking much longer. Typically a year or two would be the time, but who knows? I really don't like answering timeline questions because it's so inconsistent. I don't want to be on this record saying this much and then people saying John's wrong, because it's really inconsistent, the timelines on these cases. So unless you're having a private consultation, I spend the 20 minutes it takes to break down different parts and aspects of the process and where things go longer or shorter. I don't like to answer timeline questions. You could schedule a consultation, we could talk about it, but I don't like to do that on record because it changes constantly. Alexander said, do you do visa extensions? I do. I mean, it depends on what kind of visa it is, but email my office and we'll see if I do the type of visa you're talking about. There's 30, 40 different kinds of visas, and I do some, not the others. So email my office and let me know what kind of visa you're talking about. Safi asked, MVC officially working right now? Yes, MVC is working, operating, and accepting cases and processing cases right now. They're a little slower, a little understaffed, but they are open and they are handling cases. You're welcome, Switch. Thank you, Abkazar. So if y'all haven't, if you just tuned in, go ahead and follow on LinkedIn on the top and click on that follow button so you get notifications of these lives. I don't do as many 1-minute TikTok videos anymore like I used to. I prefer just doing half an hour talking here like this, but it's fun. Farkhan asked, got you, how can I make an appointment with you? Well, to make an appointment, email me at info@jqqlaw.com. If you go to the profile page on TikTok, there's a link there that has all my contact information. There is a consultation fee, but email me, describe what your situation is. I'll let you know what the fee is at that time, and then you can make a decision whether you want to do a video consultation or not, and also have to make a decision whether it's the kind of case I handle or not. That's why it's important that you describe the immigration issue you have to have a better idea of what's going on. Leisha asked, how long does it take for I-130 to get approved? I explained this earlier. I watched the video for this, and you could get some information on what my opinion on that question is. And then how long a motion to terminate, removal proceedings take. Again, I'm not going to answer questions about timelines. I explained why earlier. So there's a question I was asked earlier about the fiancé visa process. That's kind of going to get stalled right now because of President Trump's travel ban on immigrant visas, as well as the fact that the embassies are shut down right now. But for a fiancé visa, you have to have seen each other once in the last 2 years, and that's part of the application process. But you submit a form I-129F, and it has to be a citizen. A green card holder can't do a fiancé visa. And then you wait for the I-129F to get approved, then you do consular processing. Couple gets that visa approved. Hopefully they come here, get married, apply for a green card in the United States. Bada bing, bada boom. That's an easy version of it. Malik asks, what are we gonna do if we can't get medical records? Then your case is gonna be denied. If you're doing a green card case and you don't have the medical checkup, they're not gonna approve the case. So I'm not sure why you can't get medical records. I don't know what to tell you. It's not too hard. Right now, that's hard to get a doctor's appointment maybe, but I'm not sure why that would happen. Thank you, Farkhan. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. All right, that 20 minutes flew by. So if y'all have some last questions, we have 10 minutes left. Throw them out there. Please don't ask about timelines. I don't have answers for those. But if you have other kind of stuff popping up, let me know. As I said at the beginning of the show, the USCIS is starting to open up, so it's good. Alexander asked, what will it take? Will it be too late to get a medical exam after your interview is scheduled? It depends on how fast the doctor gets your results or if you have problems. So also, if you go to the medical exam and you have a false positive for tuberculosis and you do a chest x-ray, it delays things. So, usually I tell people when you get the courtesy notice that you need to get the medical, I say at that point go and get the medical. You probably have a month or two at least until the interview schedule. But I've had it where people had their interview 3 weeks after that notice came. But usually, a couple months after filing the case, they say, okay, now go and get the medical, or when you get that notice. Donnie asked, married with cousins is legal in the United States? Marriage with cousins, you're asking. So Not the United States is 50 different states, and each have different laws on this. In many of the states in America, it's illegal for cousins to get married. So it depends on which state that you're in and we're getting married. So in California, marriage between cousins is perfectly legal, but in Nevada, the state next door, is completely illegal. So you need to review and see which state you're from and what the rules in your local jurisdiction are. Lakshmi asks, what is administrative closure I-485, sir? Administrative closure is a court proceeding where they let it, they close down the case. Administrative closure. I don't think they call it administrative closure, and they don't call it on the I-485. So I'm not sure exactly what your question is about. I may be wrong, but I'm not sure administrative closure, admin closure. Admin closure is a court thing, not an I-485 thing. I think what you mean is this. The court is closing your case, admin closure, so you could take the case to USCIS, complete the I-485 green card process, and get it there. Right now, they're not giving administrative closure. Part of President Trump's administration's policy has been to make it very difficult for people to get administrative closure in immigration court hearings. So I'm surprised if they did do that to you, you might have some special circumstances, or a judge just didn't care. But that probably means, and I'm not sure, because I have to see your individual case, that your court case was put on hold so you could go finish the green card process with USCIS. But they shouldn't do administrative closure, they should just close the case. I got to see what's going on exactly with your paperwork to be able to answer something like that. But generally, that's probably what it means. But don't quote me on that. I may be incorrect without seeing the documents first. All right, so fun questions, interesting, kind of different questions. I like that. So going back to fiancé visa, one of the reasons I don't like doing the fiancé visa is it has a lot more steps than a traditional marriage case. So if you do a marriage case, just like a fiancé visa, first you file an initial petition to prove that you have a real relationship. And then the case goes to the embassy. But that's where things change. Once the embassy is done, well, you know, the embassy system is a little bit faster for a fiancé visa, which is why people like it, because they get to see their spouse sooner, or the future spouse sooner. But once the embassy portion is done and you come to the United States, with the marriage, you're done. You got the green card, you're all set. But the fiancé visa, then you get married, then file for a green card, and you won't get a work permit for some time. So it's a very complex, additional steps to it, additional government fees, a delay in getting the work permit. It's a hassle, but sometimes people like doing that. They prefer it. Malika asks, medical records mean recent exam? Please specify. I don't know what you're talking about, Malika. You got to specify. For the green card process, you have to have a surgeon, a civil surgeon if you're in the United States, or a panel physician overseas, do a checkup on you and make sure you have your vaccines. They give it to you in a sealed envelope. That's that, and so people do that all the time. I'm not sure what's different in your case. If you have serious medical conditions, that's potentially an inadmissibility issue. That's something different. You got to get your records somehow. I don't know what to tell you. You got to look into it, see what you can do. But that's rare. Usually people don't have those kind of things that they need. But you know, if you're having a difficult time, that's why I have to consult with a lawyer in private for help on that. There's a lot of pro bono organizations that help do this stuff for free as well. You can look into those maybe to help you. The price or cost associated with a hired attorney, a private attorney, is too difficult, which I understand. It's an expensive process, especially with all the filing fees you have to pay the government and shutdowns and work and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you're having a hard time, that's that difficult, I would say don't contact someone on the phone on a video show. Contact someone in private and talk about your case there. All right, so we're wrapping up pretty soon. Thank you for everyone joining. Steady stream of people coming. Thank you. If you haven't already, I'll just let you know first on John Khosravi, and then go and follow on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John. Actually follows up. What I mean was administrative closure, USCIS, I-45 Section 2 first time was on the letter. Something. I got to see exactly what it said. I can't ask these vague kind of questions. So definitely consult with a lawyer in private. If you got something serious like that, it's something you should really talk with a lawyer with in private. Frank on that, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule and answering our questions. You're welcome. I'll try to do my best. Thank you, Farkan. I appreciate that. And Malika, thank you as well for the kind words. Drew Patel asks, I-485 pending, EAD expired recently. Can I still work? I applied for renewal after my EAD expired. So this is very important. If you have a case for adjustment of status pending for I-485 and you had a work permit based on it and it expires, if you filed for the renewal before the expiration of the existing EAD, the work permit, you automatically get, I think it's a 150-day extension for it, or 180-day, I can't remember exactly. On the receipt notice for it, it'll specify the extended time. For some reason it escapes my mind right now, but you get several months worth of extension period on it. So hopefully you did file for the renewal. Look at the receipt on your renewal request for the EAD, and it specifies how much time you're going to have for that category of work permit, C9 category, and so that'll hold you over But I have to see your paperwork to see if you've done it right. If it expired and you hadn't, applied for a new one, you're not in that automatic extension period, then you may be violating status. That could be a problem depending on the basis of the green card you're getting. For example, if you're married to a U.S. citizen case, it doesn't matter. If you're an employment-based case, EB-1, 2, 3, you might fall within a period of time that allows for violations up to 180 days. But other categories, if you're married to a green card holder, for example, that could be a basis for a denial. So I would say contact the immigration attorney in private to help walk through that and make sure it's okay. But again, if you filed the EAD timely, the extension, there's an automatic extension period you get until the new EAD comes. On the receipt notice, it does specify the timeline for that because right now the exact date and number of days escapes me. Something like 120 to 180 days, something like that. But it's a good question. It's very important. People don't know about that. Invincible asks, can you suggest a lawyer in Massachusetts, please? Well, different immigration lawyers do different kind of cases, so I need to know a lot more about your case. If you like, email me, specify what the issue is, and I'll see what I can do about connecting you with one of my colleagues if I have somebody that handles the type of case that you need. Let's see. 01 Nav asks, after how long should I get my citizenship for USA? I don't know. It depends on how long it takes you to follow the rules and satisfy the requirements. So consult the attorney in private to see what makes sense for your case. It's different for everybody. Drew Patel, thank you. Oh, you filed after expiring. Ooh, so that sucks. So yeah, file the renewal. I think once you file, you might get the extension still, but you haven't. If you work between, you did violate status. Now it depends on what the underlying status was. He says my spouse was a green card holder. So I got two people saying two different things. I can't remember what the previous question was. But there might be some mishaps there, so definitely consult a lawyer in private to see what you can do about that situation. Admitted I did it. Any relief? No, 204C, it sucks. Consult attorney in private. I'm sorry, I was going through a quick question that someone asked yesterday as well already. About the life, it says, is it necessary for police certificate to be unexpired before entering the United States? Not all police certificates have expiration dates. The key thing is it not be expired when you go to the interview, the embassy. I've never seen them pay attention to it when you're entering the United States. Probably not, but probably not. I wouldn't worry about that too much. I don't know if they ever look into it that much. The main thing is when you do the embassy interview that it not be expired or if there is an expiration date on it. But I've never seen CBP, the port authorities, have a problem with it before entering. So I just worry about it being valid at the interview. That's what I worry about for clients. Okay. A green card holder. Okay, Owen Knapp, but I know he is a U.S. citizen. I'm not sure what your question was. It kind of got chopped up and all that. So consult attorney in private is probably better doing this kind of situation. So we got our last question right here. Malika asks, I filed for my brother when he was single, now is married with kids. Can he bring his kids if he got approved? Well, that's an interesting question. It's a very important question. It depends on the age of the kid and how long it takes for that Form I-130 petitions pending. So if the kids remain under 21, yeah, they could come with the family case. If they go over 21, there's a thing called the Child Status Protection Act, and under that, you could subtract the time it took for the initial I-130 petition to be approved from their age. So let's say it took the I-130 5 years to be approved, and when the case is, the final action date is correct on the case, which is more complicated, visa bulletins and stuff. But when that happens, if the children are like 24, and the case took 5 years, the initial case took 5 years to be approved, you can subtract the 5 years from the ages 24, all of a sudden they're 19, and they're 24, and yeah, if I'm doing my math right, then they're okay, but you also have to start the case within 1 year. So there's a lot of little nuances you have to be mindful of, and that's why you really have to hire an immigration attorney to keep an eye on this. The sooner you have a relationship with the lawyer, the better, to give you a breakdown that's proper, depending on the exact timelines of your case, and have something in writing so you have a checklist of what to do. But you have to see if it works under the Child Status Protection Act if they go over 21. So that was the last question for today. Thank you so much for everyone who joined. I enjoyed doing this kind of stuff. We always have a lively group here. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a safe day and a safe week. I'll be back here tomorrow again at 5 p.m. Pacific, Los Angeles time, to answer your questions. On TikTok, it's Immigration Lawyer John. On Facebook, it's JQK Law Firm. And you can catch the videos of these popping up on YouTube. The YouTube page for my firm is JQK Law Firm. And, there's Instagram and all that kind of stuff for more information. As always, this is just educational information. It's general information, not case specific. You should consult with an immigration lawyer in private about your case to get information that's appropriate for you. This is just general stuff, not meant for you to make a life decision on. I hope you all have the best. Till the next one, have a good one. God bless.